In computer science, a heuristic is a technique designed for solving a problem more quickly when classic methods are too slow, or for finding an approximate solution when classic methods fail to find an exact solution.
A heuristic is basically a rule of thumb or common standards. A heuristic evaluation of a computer interface or an app or a digital experience simply means checking to see that the interface meets standardized rules of engagement. This could be as simple as using standard navigation techniques, like making underlined text clickable or using the logo at the top left-hand corner of the web page as a home button. There are many different ways to choose to conduct a heuristic analysis for usability, but first, let's explore why you might wish to conduct an analysis. Why do students need to know this? And what skills will they learn? Usability is a bit of a buzzword. It captures the idea that online experiences should be intuitive and embrace standardized user norms. This helps with navigation and removes the guesswork about where to look for things. If it's easy to find your desired information on a website or an app, then it's user-friendly. When your students create a website or an online game or an interactive experience, they need to be thinking about a number of key considerations. An interactive experience, such as a website, is very different than, say, reading a book. A linear book is prescriptive and takes readers on a single path from the beginning to end. Digital experiences are non-linear. The user can choose where they go, what they click, and also when they want to leave. The most successful websites and games aim to keep users online with them as long as possible. Students will also need to think about the literacy and skills of the end user. If, for example, your students create a website for primary age children, this audience will have very different needs and expectations than if they developed an online game for teenagers. It's really important students understand the purpose of standardization heuristics as part of a computational thinking. If your students race off and get too creative, they may break basic online experiences that break the rules, leaving the user unsure of where to go or what to do next. If your students want to become gurus in web usability, it's really good to dive into exactly what makes a good user experience engaging, intuitive, and it will make it a lot more fun. Let's explore these. First up, the state of the system should be visible at all times. What this means is you should be able to see key information on screen at all times. In a computer game, it might include your current score, or perhaps the items you've collected within your game. On a website, the key navigation tabs, the key contact information, or the visibility of the shopping icon. The user should always feel in control of their choices, and they should have the freedom to get out of the game and the website very easily. For example, if your students build an e-commerce site, they need to ensure the online customer is able to simply remove items from their cart without having to backtrack through the site. Heuristics also includes thinking about things such as the ease of changing or updating personal information. Users should be able to check and edit all of their info, including the delivery address, email addresses, and passwords. User design features should be consistent. Words, actions, buttons, they should all mean the same things throughout the entire online experience. For example, if there's a red button in one part of your game or your website, that might mean jump, then it should mean jump in every part of the same online experience. But these are just quick guides to heuristics. You or your students will come up with their own list and prioritize key features and priorities. When you do a heuristic evaluation of an application, this could be an app or a game or a website or any digital interface, they all have a user experience. It's important to test it with people who are not involved with the project. That way there'll be a far greater likelihood of identifying inconsistencies that need to be fixed so that they can really enjoy the user experience. Just for clarity, heuristics is very different than debugging, which we looked at back in Workshop 1. If you remember, debugging is about fixing technical code or broken code that needs to be rewritten. Heuristics is all about engagement and making sure users are able to have a great experience. Now that you have an understanding of some heuristics, let's complete an activity using my mobile phone as a case study.
Oh, this sounds like fun. I don't think I've ever really thought about the heuristics of my mobile phone before. It just feels intuitive, but I guess that is after many iterations to get it right by the manufacturers. However, if I really think about it, there were some features where I've gone, this could have been easier to find. Anyhow, here's another activity from Francis to help explain it further. I'm
going to bring out my handy-dandy mobile phone to do an evaluation of the clock feature. You may have a different phone than me, which is totally fine. The purpose of this exercise is to understand the process you might undertake to get your students to think about heuristics and usability. So here we go. In my clock app, I can instantly see Heuristic 1. The state of the system shows me all the things in one place. I can see the world clock, my alarm, the bedtime program, stopwatch, and a timer. Heuristic level 2, the user control and freedom. Is it easy to backtrack if I make an error? Can I edit or can I add? So if I look through, it's pretty intuitive. If I want to look at the world clock, for example, where I do find a problem is I want to add a new location. But it tells me I have too many clocks open. And it says, please delete a world clock before adding a new one. This would be a breach of common heuristics. I should be able to continue to add clocks as I go. On my bedtime option, I can arrange to change my bedtime from what time I want to wake. Right now, it tells me I go to bedtime 11 o'clock at night and wake at 5:10 in the morning. But if I want to, I can simply move around a circle and change the number of hours I sleep or when I go to bed. This slider is used for all their alarms and it can be turned on and off, and they have a plus sign which have the same meaning throughout all the different functions within this area. Start and cancel have the same meaning as a stopwatch. I have to admit, on my stopwatch function, it has a button called lap. I have no idea what that's for. And I can't click it to make it start. This is a really simple exercise, one you could do with your students. Maybe you could find a favourite website and do a heuristic analysis, looking at the things that are good user experience and things that perhaps are a little bit frustrating. By undertaking a heuristic evaluation, your students will be able to improve their own digital creations and make sure that the experience is user-centric, designed for the end user, and also thinking about human behaviour.
Thanks, Francis. I have been thinking, you are so right. The sites I most enjoy or use have a really simple navigation and an intuitive layout. When I go to a new site and I can't easily find what I'm looking for, I lose interest super quickly. It's too frustrating. I know some people call this site stickiness, the ability to keep people on a site, or playing a game for long periods without them getting bored. What I do know is Minecraft has cracked heuristic analysis, as trying to peel children away from that online experience is impossible.